Sora Quince, there's no music playing from the slide.
Good morning. I am Georgette Bowman, President of Trenton Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. On behalf of our members, I welcome you all to our celebration of Black History Month. We recognize, honor, and acknowledge the contributions and achievements of those who have went before us. We celebrate the ancestors' power of resilience, sacrifice, and courage. Again, welcome and enjoy. At this time, I introduce Dina Giles Shuab, a teacher, wife, mother, educator, actor, and student of the arts. Dina is chair of the Arts and Letters Committee. Sora Dina Giles Shuab.
How do you build a legacy? Our ancestors birthed a strong foundation filled with accomplishments in fields such as math, science, industry, fashion, politics, and social justice. before we ever set foot on these lands. That is our past, our legacy, a legacy of kings and queens, warriors and leaders. Looking to the past, connecting to the future, challenges us to do more, to secure what is to come for our youth. Good morning. My name is Dina Giles Suab, and I am the Arts and Letters Committee Chair for the Trenton Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Today's program is intended to give a nod to our past, our present, and our future, to those who came before, setting a path for us to follow. We celebrate those in the present who chant Black Lives Matter and who continue to say the names of those we have lost to senseless police brutality and injustice towards those with Black and brown skin. Breonna Taylor, Amir Rice, George Floyd, Daunte Wright, and really the list is just way too long. But we also celebrate the accomplishments of Simone Biles, Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris, and Erin Jackson, who brought home the gold in the Winter Olympics to be the first Black woman to win gold in the Winter Olympics. As for the future, well, we sit back and watch as bright, innovative youth blaze a trail forward. I do hope that you enjoy the program that the Arts and Letters Committee has put together today. Wherever you are, I ask that you please stand for the Black National Anthem sung by Soar Shani Kandia. Thank you.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the presence has brought us, facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
That was beautiful. So for our first mistress of ceremony, representing the past, Soar Suzette Jackson, a former administrator in the Trenton Public School System, wife, mother, and devout friend. Soar Suzette.
Hello, everyone. I'm Suzette Jackson, member of Trenton Alumni Chapter, and I have the pleasure of being one of the three mistresses of ceremonies participating in our annual Arts and Letters Black History program today. To begin, do you know when Black History Month began? Well, it actually began in 1970. It's a time to commemorate and pay homage to our ancestors and those who fought courageously for social justice. Black History Month is recognized in our country and in Canada, and more recently has been observed in Ireland, yes, Ireland, and in the United Kingdom. I'd like to share with you just a little history about our sorority. We're proud of the fact that in 1913, after being founded at Howard University, fighting for social justice began with Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, marching in 1913 in the Women's Suffrage Parade, marking the first civil rights in Washington, D.C. Black women fighting for the right to vote along with Deltas were placed at the back of the procession, weren't officially listed, and Deltas were the only women of any sorority organization marching that day. Yet we marched with dignity, pride, and with fortitude. Deltas continue to advocate to improve political, education, social, and economic conditions within our Black communities, and we will not stop. Each of our guests, as mentioned, will demonstrate in their own way the aspects of Black history having to do with the past, present, and the future. First on our program of guests, we have ACT-SO, the Trenton Branch NAACP program for Black students, which inspires them to hone skills and talent. From performing and culinary arts to science, technology, engineering, and math, otherwise known as STEM, students have the opportunity to demonstrate their talents competitively. And now I present to you the students of ACT-SO.
Hello, we are the Trenton Branch NAACP ACT-SO program. We know that for years there has been a crisis in the educational system, and today the efforts to fill those gaps have been very small. By knowing where we've been and looking at where we are currently, we can look forward to a future where Black history is taught and celebrated all year long instead of just for 1 month.
According to New Jersey's Amistad Law, all New Jersey students are required to learn about the pain that Africans and African Americans have gone through, placing them in the forefront rather than just as bystanders. It says schools should teach about the Middle Passage, where Africans would rather jump off ships and die than live a life of enslavement. It says schools should teach about the Underground Railroad, the Emancipation Proclamation, African American lives post-Civil War, separate but equal, and lynching. Lynching, an act of public mob violence where Black people were hanged, tarred, feathered, and set on fire. The ones who did it claimed it was serving justice, when in actuality, it was a method of control, maintaining white supremacy, the epitome of oppression. All of these things and more are supposed to be taught. However, as a 10th grade student in the New Jersey school system, I can safely say that most of these events are not being taught. If this law is meant to say that African American history is American history, then why am I not learning about Charles Richard Drew, the inventor of the blood bank? Why am I not reading the poems of Maya Angelou and Langston Hughes? Why am I not listening or playing music from the Harlem Renaissance in my bands and orchestras? These are all things African Americans have done that have changed the world. On the other hand, I've learned about the inventor of the plow. I could probably recite The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost from memory. These things should be learned side by side. The Amistad Law, written in 2002, needs to be revised. History is always changing and expanding. A 20-year-old bill should too.
I is the total Black being, spoken from the earth's inside. There are many kinds of open, how a diamond comes into a knot of flame, how a sound comes into a word, colored by who pays what for speaking. Some words are open, like a diamond on glass windows, singing out within the crash of the passing sun. Then there are words like stapled in waggers. In a perforated book, buy and sign and tear apart. And come whatever wills all changes, the stub remains. An ill-pulled tooth with a ragged edge. Some words live in my throat, breeding like adgers. Other words, known as sun, seeking like gypsies over my tongue to explode through my lips, like young sparrows bursting from its shell. Some words bedevil me. Love is a word, another kind of open. As a diamond comes into a knot of flame, I am Black because I come from the earth's inside. Take my word for jewel in your open light.
Why I cry. Our tears flow like the rivers that once fueled our ancestors before. Instead of feeding further segregation, it is the glue that binds and builds us. There is a destructive vigor that is exuded from a broken-hearted tear. They empower and elevate all the burdens we have to bear. When they cry, these tears console the eye that pleaded, "Free me and save me," to the ignorant ear that wielded the weapon of destruction. When they cried, these tears branded their faces under their unbearable, scornful sun, scarring and commemorating their trials and sufferings. These scars are now etched into the hearts and faces of the new generations, reminding them of what was once before. So I say cry, cry till your heart's content, and cry without fear. Dear educators, sitting in class on an age-creaky desk on the verge of breaking, I maneuvered carefully as I gently placed my books on it, attempting to ignore its hushed groans. The chatty classroom stilled when my teacher marched to the front of the classroom demanding authority. She then plucked the book from the far corner of the room, ignoring the absurd amount of dust that coated the covers. Her eyes flickered, analyzing the book's exterior, subsequently palming and caressing the frayed pages. Her gaze lifted from the dusty words and addressed the whole classroom, making sure we remained attentive. Then she deliberately commenced reciting the words inscribed on the page. The words that swirled on the tip of her tongue overflowed with history. However, I could not help but zone out, occasionally glaring at the inaccurate clock. Abruptly, the room became cold, and the sporadic coughs and sneezes ceased. I could sense the stares of my classmates anticipating my reaction. Our teacher has said the N-word. My white teacher has said the N-word. I tore my gaze from the ticking clock and focused it on my teacher. My stomach coiled in discomfort. She said it again, again, and again. Her mouth engulfed the word with a familiarity that petrified me. I was alarmed, unable to move in my chair, fearing that it would attract too much attention. You may be wondering, what did you do in that moment? Nothing. I did nothing. I felt alone and targeted amongst my white classmates. I could not stand up for myself. Instead, I sat in the still room and held my breath, waiting for the impenetrable atmosphere to disappear. Occasionally, curious eyes would glance my way, pleading for me to speak. I could not speak. Unbeknownst to my classmates, words of retaliation scrambled up my throat. However, I devoured them before they could manifest. The racial inequality that goes on in classrooms is jarring. Many students like myself are frequently pushed into compromising situations by teachers we are meant to trust. Sooner or later, the individuals we respect lose their admirable qualities. It is unfair for students of color to confront racial injustice not only from classmates but their teachers. I am only asking for educators to educate themselves about racial injustice and how it affects their students.
In a world where we were without free will, our souls yellow still. For yellow brings about fine fortune, do not let the black soul swill. Youth with dark skin will not dwindle in progression. That will no longer relate to a caged bird. Youth with dark skin will educate and be educated. In coming years, our voices shall be heard. The future speaks of millionaires, my brothers and sisters, of course. The future speaks of engineers and doctors, maybe our prerogatives we shall enforce. In the past, for autonomy, youth with dark skin plead. In the present, youth with dark skin plead for autonomy. In the future, youth with dark skin lead the economy. In coming years, our voices must be heard. For the future speaks of freedom, the souls colored black speak down. Our privileged skin is white, deserved is a head start. O God, Christ bless thy cold heart. Foreshadowed, blessings of the yellow soul. Me and we shall lead, me and we shall rule. Me and we shall teach, me and we shall feed. No longer hungered for nourishment, but me and we are hungered for success. Me and we shall aid the black souls, lead them to jubilation. For me, we and them shall jubilate, but in communion over desolation. Yellow are we all, deep beyond the greed. From encouragement, success is guaranteed.
What is ACT-SUM? AXO is a year-long enrichment program designed to recruit, stimulate, improve, and encourage high academic and cultural achievement among African American high school students. The AXO program centers around the dedication and commitment of community volunteers and business leaders to serve as mentors and coaches to promote academic and artistic excellence among African American students. There are 32 categories of competition in the sciences, humanities, performing arts, visual arts, and business.
Join the movement because Trenton AXO rocks, baby.
Wow, thank you, AXO. What passion, talent, and knowledge each of these participants hold. And certainly each of them will definitely make an impact in the world anywhere they happen to be. Thank you for your views on education or rhetorical, original poems, original essays, absolutely compelling. You are definitely good troublemakers. Next, we have Elaine Buck and Beverly Mills of the Stroudsburg-Sauerland Museum. They are the founding members of the Stroudsburg-Sauerland African American Museum and trustees of the Stroudsburg Cemetery, a historic cemetery for the people of African descent. The two women will speak on voting rights for African Americans for the past, present, and future.
My name is Elaine Buck. I live in Hopewell Borough in New Jersey. I am the co-founder of the Stroudsburg-Sauerland African American Museum in Skillman, New Jersey. I'm also the co-author of If These Stones Could Talk.
And I am Beverly Mills, and I live in Pennington Borough. I am also a co-founder of the Stroudsburg-Sauerland African American Museum and co-author of If These Stones Could Talk.
We would like to talk today about the voting rights for African Americans, our past, present, and future. We are sitting in a historic area in central New Jersey, a region that owes its founding and success to the African American presence and contribution that dates back to the 17th and 18th centuries. In 1776, New Jersey's first constitution allowed women and African Americans voting rights as long as they met the right criteria. In 1801, Ephraim Hageman, along with 4 other African Americans, voted in Montgomery Township in New Jersey. They exercised their right to vote alongside their white neighbors, many of whom had been slave owners or still were. Now, let's take a look at our present.
So now we look at our present, and we understand that there has been a struggle with voting rights ever since the beginning of time. And it's not over, unfortunately. So let's look at a quote just recently by Mitch McConnell, who's our current Senate Minority Leader. When he made this comment when asked, his message was to voters of color concerned about their voting rights. And he said the concern is misplaced because if you look at the statistics, African American voters are voting in just as high a percentage as Americans. So what does that tell you? He doesn't even consider us as Americans. Today, 19 states have enacted 34 laws that will make it disproportionately more difficult for people of color to vote. So we're faced with a Senate that has failed to vote to change filibuster rules, which would allow for the passage of the John Lewis Voting Rights Act that will restore federal protections for all eligible voters. So now we're sitting here 57 years after the passage of the Voting Rights Act in 1965. And here's where America currently stands. So what can you do to help ensure our future? So when we look at the future, we see that America's democracy is at risk. The browning of America has caused the dominant caste to feel that their way of life is in jeopardy. and even believe that in some cases, violence is justified. So for our future, we have to ensure that the protection of all Americans are able to exercise the right to vote, and that is unhampered. Our future depends on all of us to register voters by convincing them that their vote counts. We need everyone to vote in local, state, and federal elections, not just the presidential elections, because our future depends upon it. So Delta, let's do your part.
So let's continue to support voting, registration, continue to vote, and as stated, not only for presidential elections, but for local, state, and federal elections. Thank you, Elaine Buck and Beverly Mills, for that rich information on voting rights, which is so vital, impacting the quality of life for our people. Next, we have a wonderful duo performance by Taylin and Ariana, who are actually niece and uncle to each other. Let's see them now, showcasing their talents.
Glory, lean on, young, gifted, and black. Get up, stand up. Oh, happy day, God's plan. Some songs can make such an impression on you if you remember them for years. Many songs are remembered for the words and lyrics. A song with powerful lyrics can leave a lasting impression for a lifetime. Imagine that. Could it be if you could be mine, we both shine? Hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon. Born against, yes, glorious destiny. Every day women and men become legends. Since to go against our skin, become blessings. The movement is the rhythm to us. Freedom is like religion to us. Justice is just the position enough. Justice all just ain't specific enough. Imagine that. Could it be if you could be mine, we both shine? That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When they go down, woman and man up. They say stay down, and we stand up. Just me on the ground, the camera panned up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up. Imagine that. No one can win the war individually. It takes the wisdom from the elders and the young people's energy. Welcome to the story we call victory. Coming of the Lord, my eyes see the glory. Imagine that. Could it be if you could be mine, we both shine? Imagine that. Could it be if you could be mine, we both shine?
Thank you, Taylin and Ariana, for that awesome performance. And by the way, Taylin started teaching himself to play the piano at an early age, and Ariana loves to dance and read. They are son and granddaughter of our own sorority sister, Rosalind Plunkett. Yes, lyrics from songs of the past and present can last for a lifetime. What would you do if you ruled the world? Great job, you two. Now we are moving on with the program to our next Mistress of Ceremonies, Sister Anita Wimple.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, Soror Suzette. That was so great. I'm sitting over here saying that's a nice little old school mix to it, too. So that was super wonderful. So thank you so much. Am I smiling? All right, so we're going to thank you. I'm excited, and we are going to go on to our next presentation from Reading Adventures.
Reading Adventures was led by the following committee members for the 2021-22 programming year. Under the leadership of Dr. Sonia Knock as committee chair, there were also sorors Kendra Lee as co-chair, Carol Phillips, Dr. Donnie Johnson, and Vanessa Richardson. Hello, my name is Dr. Sonia Knock. I am a member of the Trenton Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I currently serve as the chair for Reading Adventures, the chapter's K-5 youth enrichment program. Reading Adventures originated as Deltas at the library. Sorors Dorothy Palmer, Doretha Madden, and Agnes Vaughn enacted their vision for advancing early literacy by reading to youth at Cadwalder Library in West Trenton. Over the years, the program evolved into what is now called Reading Adventures. The current Reading Adventures curriculum is designed to develop participants' reading skills through 21st century skill-based enrichment activities. Our long-term goals are to develop the whole child by cultivating traditional and technological literacy proficiencies, responsible character behaviors, service aspirations, and global career competencies that will serve as a strong foundation for the youth in our service area. My sorority sisters and I enjoy working with our youth in person, but the world events prevented us from doing so this year. That didn't stop us from putting together beneficial and meaningful programming for our participants. These bulleted topics are just some of the topics that we covered this year, with each session highlighting an HBCU, an important person in African American, US, and world history, hence all history. We're very excited about the work that we've done with our youth this year and look forward to continuing that work as we move forward.
The history of Black inventors. Black men and women have made immeasurable contributions to the world through scientific discovery and innovative ideas. Unfortunately, many of their accomplishments were unrecognized, resulting in their rights to their inventions being stolen. Today, we will recognize the intellect, courage, and determination that manifested the accomplishments of countless great contributions, recognized and unrecognized.
Since the days of slavery, Black inventors have faced many challenges. The Patent Acts of 1793 and 1836 banned Africans from obtaining patents because enslaved people were not considered American citizens. As a result, slaves did not have legal ownership and rights over their inventions, and slave owners took credit for their slaves' inventions. Black inventors did not allow the legal obstacles to stop them from envisioning and creating inventions that help make their lives better, as well as the world around them.
From Mother Africa to the present, Black inventors have and still are making significant contributions to shaping America and the world. In the past, many of these inventions were made out of necessity due to the fact that the majority of them were based on tasks that needed to be done by enslaved people, servants, and workers. Today, Reading Adventures will give you a sneak peek into the lives of 5 Black inventors and their contributions to the world through their creative and extraordinary inventions.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am pleased to introduce you to our esteemed panel. First, we will have Mr. Gerald A. Lawson, followed by Frederick McKinley Jones. Afterwards, we will have Madam C.J. Walker, followed by Garrett Morgan. So please sit back, relax, enjoy, and learn as you hear from our wonderful panel today.
Hi, my name is Gerald A. Lawson. I was born on December 1st, 1940 in Brooklyn, New York. You may not know my name, but you should, because I was a Brooklyn-born pioneering scientist and video game developer. In the 1970s, I moved to the Bay Area's Silicon Valley, where I was one of the only Black engineers in the tech industry. In 1976, I joined the computer firm Fairchild Semiconductor, where I became the director of the engineering and marketing for the company's video game division. Under my direction, the Fairchild Channel F, which is a console that allowed people to play an assortment of games at home, was developed. This console led to the creation of popular systems we use today, including the Atari 2600, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation, and Wii. I died on April 9th, 2011 in Santa Clara, California.
Hi, my name is Frederick McKinley Jones. I was born May 17, 1893, in Cincinnati, Ohio. During my lifetime, I was awarded 61 patents, 40 for refrigeration equipment. In the late 1930s, my invention of refrigerated air cooling units for trucks, railroad cars, ships, and planes revolutionized the distribution of food and other perishables by making fresh produce available anywhere in the country, regardless of the season. My invention also changed American eating habits. My cooling units also played an important role in preserving blood, medicine, and food at Army hospitals and on battlefields during World War II. I died on February 21st, 1961, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. In 1991, I was posthumously awarded the National Medal of Technology, the first African American to receive the award.
I was born Sarah Breedlove on December 23, 1867 on a cotton plantation in Delta, Louisiana. I was the 5th child and the first freeborn in the family to former slaves Owen and Minerva Anderson. Both my parents died when I was 7, leaving me an orphan. I married my first husband, Mose McWilliams, at the age of 14 and moved to St. Louis, Missouri with our daughter after he died. During the 10 years that I worked as a low-paid washerwoman, I tried various commercials, hairdressing, and started to experiment with my own formula for curing scalp infections that cause baldness. I worked as a cook for a pharmacist in Denver in 1905, where I learned how to formulate an ointment that treated ailments caused by lack of indoor plumbing. In 1906, I married my 3rd husband, Charles Jophus Walker, and became known as Madam C.J. Walker, the woman who created the Walker method for hair care. I was the first female self-made millionaire in America. See my fortune to employ men and women who were denied work and wanted the advancement of Black Americans. Despite my death on May 25, 1919, in Irvington, New York, many of my projects are still being used today.
Garrett A. Morgan was born in Paris, Kentucky in 1877.
He witnessed many accidents at traffic lights that only had stop and go signals. He saw a way to improve safety by adding a warning light, and the three-way signal, which greatly improved vehicle safety, was born. He sold the rights to his invention to General Electric for $40,000, which was worth $1,327,628.57 at that time. Before that, in 1914, Garrett A. Morgan also secured a patent for a canvas hood that helped firefighters breathe when in the line of duty. He sold the safety hoods to the U.S. Navy, and the Army used them in World War I. Garrett A. Morgan died in 1963. Sarah Good was born into slavery in 1855 in Toledo, Ohio. She was an inventor and entrepreneur who was one of the first African American women to be granted a patent by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office for her invention of a folding cabinet bed in 1885. After receiving her freedom at the end of the Civil War, she moved to Chicago and eventually became an entrepreneur along with her husband, Archibald, who was a carpenter. They also owned a furniture store. Many of her customers lived in small apartments and didn't have much space for furniture, including beds. As a solution to that problem, she invented a cabinet bed, which she described as a folding bed. Today, it would be called a Murphy bed. When the bed was not being used, it could also serve as a roll-top desk with places for writing supplies. Sarah Good died on April 8, 1905, in Chicago, Illinois.
Young, gifted, and Black. Oh, what a lovely, precious dream. To be young, gifted, and Black. Open your heart to what I mean. In the whole world, you know, there's a million boys and girls who are young, gifted, and Black. And that's a fact.
Thank you, reading. That was awesome. Where will we be without our wonderful Black inventors? Man, those young people, you seen that? They're standing up doing public speaking, reading into the camera. That is a wonderful skill. And that is wonderful skill sets that you can get from our very own Reading Adventures. So please have the young people come on and check us out. That was awesome. That young lady in her suit, I said, you better go, little girl. All right. So that was awesome. So next week, what you see on the screen right now is a survey. So take a moment to upload the survey so that you can let us know how you are enjoying the show and seeing what you would like to see the next time. So we are super excited. Man, I just can't get over that, like the Murphy bed. So that was a new one for me. So to find that out. So I'm super excited about that. So the next we have our very own first Black female officer. So we'll let you listen to the video of Officer Toni Mitchell.
Hi Deltas, my name is Officer Toni Mitchell. In 2015, I became the first Black female ever hired as a police officer in Princeton, New Jersey. I would like to start by thanking all of you for inviting me to be a part of your 2022 Black History Month program and acknowledging my place in Mercer County Black history. I am often asked, how and why, as a Black female, would I ever consider becoming a police officer and working in a profession with such a racist and troubling history? The answer is simple. In order to make change, sometimes you have to be the change. My mission as an officer and a future attorney is to pave the way for other Black females and inspire them to use their voices and take up space in places of power that have historically been reserved for men. So today, I challenge you all to take up space and make room for the next sister. Thank you for your time. Bye.
Thank you, Officer Mitchell. Wow, that was wonderful. Being the first of anything is difficult, especially being the first Black in a predominantly white. And I love that she is also going to be, or she's an attorney, an officer and attorney. That is a great skill set to have in that field. So thank you, Officer Mitchell, for sharing with us today. Next, we will have our very own Dr. Betty Shabazz, Delta Academy.
Hey besties, what are y'all up to?
Hi everyone, we're preparing to leave for college.
I'm excited for y'all. I'm so proud of you. Go get your education, yes.
I've been hyped up for this for such a long time, y'all don't even know. I can't believe I'm attending Howard University in Washington, D.C. Did you know Howard was founded in 1867 and has 13 schools and colleges?
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
It's one of the leading historically Black colleges and universities, also known as HBCUs. People like Kamala Harris, the first Black vice president, authors like Zora Neale Hurston, who wrote Their Eyes Were Watching God, and Chadwick Boseman, who played the lead role in Marvel's Black Panther, attended the school.
Wow, that's crazy.
Not only that, but it's one of the big-time producers of Black professionals in fields such as medicine, music, and law, etc., etc.
Well, that's convenient, since you want to study law.
Exactly. After graduating with my bachelor's degree, I plan on attending Howard School of Law. Do y'all know Thurgood Marshall, the first Black Supreme Court Justice, graduated from Howard Law School?
Justice Marshall also went to my future school, Lincoln University, as an undergrad.
For real? Are there any other well-known alumni from Lincoln?
Yeah, Sheila Oliver, the first Black female lieutenant governor of New Jersey, is a graduate of Lincoln. And I forgot to mention Justice Marshall and poet Langston Hughes were classmates at Lincoln. They were even honored with stamps by the U.S. Post Office. Whoop whoop! Go Lions! That's our mascot, by the way.
Well, I'll be rooting for Grambling State University Tigers, GSU. The Tigers go up against the Southern University Jaguars in the football game called the Bayou Classic every single year. They either have a battle of the bands.
I know that's not the only reason why you want to go there.
No, GSU has a small college feel to it that I just like. They have majors I'm interested in like nursing, computer science, and even education.
I heard Erykah Badu went to that school.
Yep. Also author Charles Blow, rapper E40, DJ Jubilee, or as I call him, DJ Jellybean, and the late Natalie and Desel Reed from the movie Baps attended.
Well, you know, I'm going to Spelman College in Atlanta. I've been hearing about being a Spelman since I was really little, because, you know, my dad's a Morehouse man.
Well, I know Stacey Abrams went to Spelman, and she's the first Black woman to win a major U.S. party nomination for governor.
Yeah, and there are other well-known alumni. You know the movie The Color Purple, right? Well, the writer Alice Walker went there. Ooh, and there's Esther Roll. She's JJ's mom in Good Times. Ooh, but then there's Keisha Knight Pulliam. You know who she is, right? What? You guys don't watch classic TV shows? She's Rudy from The Cosby Show. See, and she's a maid Delta. I can't wait to start Spelman.
Well, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated was founded on Howard's campus by 22 women on January 13, 1913. It continues to provide an influential legacy. Dr. Nicole Roebuck, the first woman director of GSU Marching Band, and Renee Hall, the former chief of police for the Dallas Police Department, are proud members of Delta.
I can't believe y'all picked historically black colleges and universities to go to. You could have gone anywhere. Why choose HBCU?
Well, HBCUs are rich in history. They were established before 1964 with the purpose of educating Black Americans during legal segregation. At that time, many institutions of higher education served predominantly white students and disqualified or limited Black student enrollment. Howard has played an important role in not only Black history but American history. It was named after General Oliver O. Howard, a Civil War hero, and in only its first 5 years, it educated over 150,000 freed slaves.
My school was the first institution in the world to provide higher education in the arts and sciences to male youth of African descent. So while Howard, Grambling, and Spelman are great schools, my school is the first and original HBCU.
Lincoln was the first?
Lincoln University was founded in 1854 and renamed in 1866 after President Abraham Lincoln.
Wow, I didn't know that. You are dropping jewels.
Lincoln also had an international presence. The first presidents of Nigeria and Ghana graduated from Lincoln. Did you know during the first 100 years of its existence, Lincoln graduated 20% of the Black doctors and more than 10% of the Black attorneys in the United States. I plan on studying medicine, and I feel very good standing on the shoulders of the Black doctors that came before me.
My school, Spelman, has such a long history dating back to 1881 when it was founded. It is now one of the main liberal arts colleges for educating Black women.
My school, GSU, was founded in 1901 in Grambling, Louisiana. These schools paved the way. That's why they're so important. There are 107 HBCUs in this country. They provide opportunities for education, advancement, and fellowship for so many people.
I am so proud of you ladies. You studied and got to your dream schools, but I'm going to miss hanging out with you guys on the weekends.
Lincoln is in PA, about an hour and a half from where we live. You can come visit for our homecoming.
And I'm only a train ride away in DC. You can always come through.
Nia and I are down south, but you can catch a plane ride to Georgia or Louisiana anytime.
That's true. And y'all gave me a lot of information to think about, and I'm definitely applying to all the HBCUs y'all talked about. But I gotta go eat dinner, so I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
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 Later, guys. Oh, I forgot to mention.
All right, Dr. Jennifer Bass. That was awesome. Repping our HBCUs. I remember when I was getting ready to go out to college. Seemed so long ago. So they did a great job. And special shout out to Lincoln. I have a daughter at Lincoln, so that was awesome. So they were, that was fabulous, young ladies. Just giving us that history on why it's important to give back and to attend our HBCUs and all that history. So next we have our next mistress of ceremony, and I will turn it over to Ms. Dina.
I hope that you're enjoying the show so far. I am so pleased at all of the talented youth that we have seen thus far in the program. Our next mistress of ceremony is representing our future, Taylor Wimple. Taylor is a junior at Ewing High School who has a loving sister. She's a loving sister and a loving daughter, and she is also an upcoming entrepreneur. She is also Sora Wimple's mini-me. Thank you, Taylor.
How y'all doing? So that last performance, I gotta say, I didn't know all that until today. Like all the people, like the Ghana president and all that, I just definitely did not know that. So kudos to y'all for letting me know. So thank you, Betty Shabazz, for letting me know the history behind all of our like HBCUs and everything, how people came up from there. I feel real informed. So let's go to our next performance by the Kappas.
Kappa League TV.
And you are now watching Kappa League TV. If you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you have to wake up and pay attention.
Come on, guys. I at least want to be able to believe what you're saying.
Come on, yo. Can we liven this up a little? If you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you gotta wake up and pay attention. If you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you gotta wake up and pay attention. If you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere.
Wait. I did not know you guys could sing. That's really good work, guys. Really good work. Yo, drop that again.
You wanna be somebody, you wanna go somewhere, you gotta wake up and pay attention. You wanna be somebody, you wanna go somewhere, you gotta wake up and pay attention. Come on. You wanna be somebody, you wanna go somewhere, you gotta wake up and pay attention.
Our past is a reminder that we should never give up and to keep striving to achieve our goals and make our ancestors proud.
My name is Eric Bullock, Spring 13, Trenton Alumni Chapter. Our past is extraordinary, our present is impactful, and our future is promising. Yo.
Our past is our foundation, our present is our reality, and the future, behold, is a mystery. Just a couple things to think about for the ones that pave ways for us during this Black History Month, a time of reflection, and a time to also set inspiration for the future.
Our future is what we make it.
Happy Black History Month. Our past is rich, our present is empowering, and our future is enlightening. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Alan Killebrew. I'm a brother of the Trenton Alumni Chapter. I just wanted to say that our past inspires me because I know that our future can be that much greater.
Our past is like a novel. It's the book that's been written already. Our present, well, there's our opportunity. It is us pen in hand. And the future is the library you choose to leave behind. It is our legacy.
Was anybody else feeling that song in the beginning? Shoot, I know I was. I was over here bopping my head. But I really felt that performance. When the one boy said our future is what we make it, I truly felt that. I plan on making my future look real bright. How about y'all? But for our next performance, we will have a video. Yeah, a video. We'll be having a video.
The year was 1975. The Vietnam War was coming to an end. There was unrest on college campuses and across the nation. Prior to this time, Rutgers Newark School of Law had a number of students and faculty members who objected to the implementation of a minority student program. Against this backdrop, Golden Johnson initiated a call meeting and summoned individuals to discuss issues impacting Black women in the legal profession and the formation of an organization to address these issues.
But I remember Renee was the first caller. She had called me. We worked right across the street. She was at Prudential Building, and I was at I was in the Commerce Building in Newark. We were across the street from each other. And I know what interested me about the formation is that we didn't have a real connection with the white women lawyers. There would just seem to be a disconnect in this regard. We were further ahead in our minds, I believe, to become real active participants, not taking away from all women law graduates. It's just there was a different mindset, and I don't think we felt that we were served as well and to come together ourselves. In addition to which, I don't believe we were of the mindset that we had to impress the men.
Wow.
As much as the other women did at that time. I also think we had more of a fighting spirit than they did at the time. And you know, also too, when we formed the ABWL, it was an interesting time in American history. You had the Vietnam War and all the protests against that war. You had activist students, really. You think about the protests at Kent State and Columbia, and so it was an activist time, the Black Power movement, activist time. We had also lived through the assassination of Martin Luther King. I was a freshman when he was assassinated. Wow. And Malcolm X. So there was a heightened sense of activism. We weren't passive.
Greetings to my sorors, the members of the Trenton Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and welcome to all of your guests. I am so proud of you young ladies for joining us today for this program. That shows dedication and commitment, characteristics that will help you realize your dreams. Do any of you want to be lawyers? Well, my name is Sherry Wilson, and I am the Vice President of the Association of Black Women Lawyers of New Jersey. I will tell you a little bit about the Association of Black Women Lawyers, which we refer to as the ABWL. And then you will hear from our distinguished president, President Jennifer Downing Mathis. Imagine going to law school, becoming a lawyer, and then when you show up in court, the sheriff's officers and judges refuse to acknowledge you as a lawyer. Imagine becoming a lawyer and you cannot use the bathroom in the building where you work. Well, that is what some of our founders experienced. It was in 1975 when the Association of Black Women Lawyers was established. It was near the end of the Vietnam War. There was great turmoil throughout our country, and many protests were taking place. These 10 women decided to get together to form an association for Black women lawyers. The goals were to encourage Black women to enter the legal profession, to assist students and provide scholarships for them, and to help the community. Now, generations later, we have more than 300 members. Our founders made a difference then, and we are making a difference now by carrying out the mission of our founders. Becoming a lawyer is not easy, but we've done it, and you can too. You will face challenges, no matter what your dreams are. But remember, in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward.
Thank you, Sherry. It is our pleasure to be invited to speak to you today. And we hope for the day that we can come back and speak to you in person in the future. My name is Jennifer Downing Mathis, and I am the president of the Association of Black Women Lawyers of New Jersey for this year's 2021-2022 term. And presently, our attorneys are doing amazing things. And we exemplify high standards of professionalism and conduct within our profession, as well as being highly respected by our colleagues in this profession. Our attorneys are judges, they are deans of colleges and universities, professors at colleges and universities, partners in law firms, head prosecutors around the state, general counsel in the private sector and in large corporations. Some of our attorneys own their own firms. Some of our attorneys are leaders in their respective communities, taking positions such as mayor or councilwomen. And one of our attorneys was the first Black female president of the American Bar Association. And that is the association that is comprised of all attorneys throughout all 50 United States. It's a national organization. And again, it was our pleasure to be here to speak to you today. We thank you and we wish you the best of luck. We hope that some of you will be the future of the Association of Black Women Lawyers and that you'll one day join us as part of this great organization. Thank you.
I want to say, thank you to the Association of Black Women Leaders, Lawyers, and like Black Girl Magic, like for real. We definitely paved our own way. We did it big then, and we still doing it big now. And thank you to the 10 founders that made it all happen. And also big congrats to Jennifer Downing Mathis for becoming the president of such a big foundation. And for our next presentation, I gotta give them a big introduction. Rep the gems, because we really doing it big. So I'm going to bring the gems on. And
the Delta Gems bring to you their rendition of what Black female excellence looks like from the past, the present, and the future. Through Ebony's fashion, Jet's entertainment, Essence's beauty, the future is definitely female.
Black women were influential and played an important role in the 1970s. The first issue of Essence magazine was published May 1970. The magazine gave us beautiful ideas from fashion to different hairstyles.
Marian Wright Elderman was the nation's strongest voice
for poor, minority, and disabled children. The Children's Defense Fund served as an advocacy and a research center, documenting the problems of children in need and searching ways to help them.
Marian Wright Elderman graduated from Spelman College and Yale Law School. She was the first Black woman admitted to the Mississippi Bar and the director of the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Office in Jackson, Mississippi. She was also the founder and president of the Children's Educational Fund in 1973.
The Children's Defense Fund leaves no child behind is to ensure that every child has a healthy start, a head start, a fair start, a safe start, and a moral start in life, and a successful passage to adulthood with the help of caring families and communities.
Barbara Jordan was an American lawyer, educator, and politician who was a leader in the civil rights movement. She was the first Black elected to the Texas Senate after Reconstruction, and the first Southern Black woman elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. On July 25, 1974, she delivered the opening statement for the impeachment of President Richard Nixon. As Congresswoman from Texas, she was the first Black woman to deliver the keynote address at the Democratic Convention in Chicago on July 12, 1976. She stated,
"We are a people in a quandary about the present. We are a people in the search of our future. We are a people in the search of a national community. We are a people trying not to only solve problems of the present, but we are attempting on a largest scale to fulfill promises of America. I survived because the fire inside me burned brighter than the fire around me."
In 1986, I, Oprah Winfrey, stepped onto the entertainment scene, taking the world by storm. I am known as the first African-American woman to host a national syndicated talk show and was featured on the cover of Ebony magazine. Today I have some special guests with me for my old table talk. Since we are celebrating Black History Month, I wanted to highlight some of my favorite influential Black women. Please welcome Mrs. Angela Davis, Florence Flo Jo Griffith, and Mrs. Vanessa Williams. My first guest today is a scholar and professor, Angela Davis.
Hi, I'm Angela Davis. As a scholar and professor, I authored 11 books, one of my bestsellers including Women, Race, and Class. I ran unsuccessfully in 1980 and 1984 on the Communist Party ticket for the Vice President of the United States. I have also been known for my work in the Civil Rights Movement.
My second guest today is known to be the fastest woman alive, Florence Flo Jo Griffith.
I won 3 gold Olympic Games in Seoul, South Korea in 1988, and my world records for the 100, 200 meter race remains unbroken. I am also known for my notable fashion and trademark nails.
My last guest today is Miss America, Vanessa Williams.
Although I am not here to brag about my 1983 American crown, I will say it was an honor to make history. For the first 30 years of the pageants, Black women weren't even able to compete. In 1988, I debuted my first album and sold over 2 million copies, and also had one of the chart-topping singles, Save the Best for Last. A quote that I always say is, you should be unique, you should be confident, and you should be able to tell your story. That's how people remember who you are. You should be willing to tell who you are and your story.
Thank you to all my guests and viewers for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Anything you can imagine, you can create.
I would like to get to know if you could be the kind of girl that you could be down for.
Hello and welcome aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour. I'm Mae Jemison, an American engineer physician and a NASA astronaut. Today is September 12, 1992. Please watch ahead as you are climbing into the spacecraft. Today you are witnessing me becoming the first African American woman to go into space. While many have questioned my skills, abilities, and dreams, I've always dreamed of inspiring young minds and figuring out how to send humans to other star systems. Uh-oh, the alarms are sounding off.
Houston, are we ready for launch?
Oh, sorry about that. Bob must have changed the radio. Houston, we are ready for liftoff.
Today is October 25th, 1997, and as I look into the crowd, I see over 750,000 African American women gathered together to march right here on the Benjamin Franklin Parkway in Philadelphia. We are marching to help bring social and economic development and power throughout the Black communities of the United States. It is here at the Million Women's March, we stand together recognizing, defending the most marginalized among us, defending all of them. After today, October 25th, 1997, we will never be the same. America, please be placed on notice. We know who we are. We know what kind of power we have. We will act on that power. Maxine Waters, United States Representatives.
Black women are high fashion and street fashion. We are leaders and lovers of our communities. We do brunch and we do social action.
We must amplify the voices of Black women. We highlight our past, our present, and our future in the new African woman. From Black Lives Matter to Black Girl Magic. So journalists, let's hear your ideas for our upcoming spring edition. First, I want to hear from Michaela, and then Taylor, I'd like to hear your ideas.
Well, my feature would be about the wonderfully talented and strong sister Simone Biles. She's an international elite artistic gymnast with a combined total of 32 Olympic and World Championship medals. Biles is the most decorated gymnast of all time. She partially withdrew from the 2020 Olympics to focus on safety and mental health, which was courageous and necessary. Some criticized her choice, but I support her. To see her perform is pure Black girl magic.
But with all of our fabulousness and Black girl magic, we still have to tell that Black Lives Matter. My story will be titled, Say Her Name. Black girls and women murdered by police officers across the United States. There are so many, but I will tell the stories of Aiyana Stanley Jones, age 7, Detroit. Rakia Boyd, age 22, Chicago. Alberta Smith, age 57, New York City. Katherine Johnston, age 92, Atlanta, and so many more.
May your ancestors embrace you and lift you up, dear sister. Please help guide our rage and our tears towards justice for you and justice for all.
So 20 years from now, we want women to look back at Simone Biles' life and see this as the floor and not the ceiling. We are breaking barriers. And in terms of Black Lives Matter, well, we have a long, long way to go in this country. But both ideas sound great, ladies. This is going to be the best edition yet. So let's get to work, okay? Thanks.
The medical team led by Dr. Madison Talbot of Fortitude Medical Group discovered a cure for breast cancer. The clinical trials were 100% effective, and treatment will be made available immediately to all women. All help is queen. The future is brilliant.
History has shown us that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own.
Billionaire Leah Goss created the social media platform Delta Force. She invested 75% of her wealth to revitalize the city of Trenton, creating education and employment opportunities. Trenton now boasts an amusement park, sports complex, and 30 shops and restaurants on the waterfront. Families are thriving. All hail this queen. The future is blazing.
Every great dream begins with the dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world.
Dr. Jakaya Higgins is the CEO and lead psychologist for Delivering Change Incorporated. Her dissertation was focused on COVID and its impact on African Americans. She opened clinics in the New Jersey urban centers where residents are getting their needed services. Unemployment, suicides, crime, and homelessness have sharply declined in Black communities throughout the state. All hail this queen. The future is phenomenal.
I was built this way for a reason, so I'm going to use it.
The future is possible.
Black women are intelligent, beautiful, courageous, amazing, powerful trailblazers. Through the eyes, the stories, and the accomplishments of inspiring Black women, you've learned all about our past, you are witnessing our present, and our future will be something great to behold.
Thank you, Delta Gems. We really doing it big out here. We know who we are. It took a lot of us to get where we are. We really doing it big. Man, oh man, I can't wait to really see what our future look like. I know it's gonna be bright. And now I'm going to turn it over to Miss Dina.
Thank you, Taylor. What a fabulous job. I can't tell you, I loved your energy. I loved having you as a mistress of ceremony. I hope that you all enjoyed this Black History program of 2022. I want to thank all of our youth organizations and most importantly to our youth who really brought their talent to this program this year. Thank you to Trenton AXO, Dr. Betty Shabazz Academy, Talon and Ariana, Reading Adventures, Kappa League, and Dr. Jean L. Noble Delta Gems. Their talents never fail to impress me. I know our future is in good hands. I also want to thank Sora Suzette Jackson, our first mistress of ceremony, and a special thank you to Sora Anita Wimple, who is a mother of two beautiful daughters, advisor for the Gems, president for the Trenton Fortitude Corporation, and a principal at Isles Youth Institute. Thank you to our guest speakers, Elaine Buck and Beverly Mills, Officer Tony Mitchell, and the Association of Black Lawyers of New Jersey. I would also like to thank all of the committee members of Arts and Letters. Thank you. And most importantly, I want to thank our tech team, Sora Regina Quince and Sora April Reed. We thank you so much for joining us for the Black History program today. I do ask before you leave that you please complete our survey. It really helps to guide our programming. If you can, please use your phone, hover over the QR code that you see on the screen. When you see the link pop up, go ahead and hit that and complete the survey. If you're not able to complete using the QR code, there is a website that's on the screen, and I also am posting a link in the chat that you can click on and complete that survey. Again, thank you so much for joining us for our 2022 Black History program, our past, our present, and our future. Thank you.